And welcome to Track 'em Tigers. I'm Jay Coulter, joined by the coach, Ron Nelson. Coach, let me be the first to wish you a happy Thanksgiving and, more importantly, happy Iron Bowl week.
That's exactly right. This is the best time of the year, getting to and have the family time Thursday, and then luckily we are Jordan-Hare this year, so it's not going to be a long little trip, and looking forward to it.
Yeah, my favorite week of the year. I mean, how can it get any better? Before we get started, though, I want to recognize a couple local teams that are near and dear to us. First, congratulations to Glenwood. The varsity football team played in the state championship last Friday, fell a little bit short, but what an accomplishment this year.
It was a good time. I was so proud of those boys, and to fight and overcome and have some key injuries along the way and to keep battling through that, and just to get to the state championship game. I know they wanted to win it, and but they gave a really great effort for Glenwood and Phoenix City, and thanks, my hat's off to Coach Gibson and his staff, and really brought a lot of excitement to the Glenwood campus.
Yeah, great job. Congratulations, Glenwood, and again, congratulations to Central. State championship game 2 years in a row, playing a familiar opponent again.
Playing Thompson again. You know, everybody remembers score from last year. This is a different Thompson team, and we just kind of last year and jumped on them quick and just harassed them, and it was just. But they'll be prepared for that. It's going to be a real good ball game, and congratulations to Coach Dubose and his staff and all of Central High School. And you know, I want to see that Phoenix City crowd come out like it did last year. It was amazing that the fans that we had there last year, and we're going to need the same support this year.
Absolutely. You want to brag on your son a little bit? He's on staff. I guess he'll be working over the holiday weekend.
Yeah, he's they've had the nose to the grind. I mean, they worked all day Sunday and they walked all day on Monday and Tuesday, and but they're excited about it. Anytime when you was a high school coach and you could be coaching on Thanksgiving, you knew you had a special game. I mean, a special team. And
good way of looking at it.
And so I'm proud for my son and all the other coaches. I'm close to all of them, and they do a tremendous job. I know Coach Dubose would say that, but he's lucky enough to have one of the best staffs in the state. No
question, and I want to wish Central the best of luck. All right, let's turn our attention to the 84th Iron Bowl this Saturday, 3:30 p.m. CBS Jordan-Hare Stadium. The 30th reunion of the first time ever for you younger folks. First time ever. Coach Bear Bryant said that his Alabama football team would never come to Auburn and play. Pat Dye said, "Oh, yes, you will," and they did. Back in 1989, the 30th anniversary. I was a junior at Auburn. I was in the student section that day. Seems like yesterday.
It does. I can remember me and Coach Gary Soha, and I hope he's doing better. He had a little surgery, He had a hip replacement surgery. And my son, he was only 4 years old, maybe 5 at the time. And we went over there and tailgated and enjoyed the atmosphere, and it was probably the most electric atmosphere that I've ever experienced. People asked me, was talking yesterday about it, and the thing I can remember the most about it was not only the Tiger Walk, something that, you know, it was so bad that they had to walk single file instead of 2 or 3 wide, single file all the way through. I can remember James Joseph, a Central graduate, talking about how he hyperventilated going through, and actually had to give him a paper bag when he got to the locker room.
I remember that, yeah.
And so forth. But the thing that sticks out the most was right before the kickoff. The Auburn section was just totally, the student section, you was there. You could look over there because we were sitting on the home side, and the blue haze from the pom-poms. It looks like a blue smog, you know, over the whole stadium. And I remember the third play of the ball game. We hit Alexander Wright down their sideline for a great play and a good pickup.
Set the stage, didn't it?
And that set the tone. And I've talked to some of them. I talked to Dale Overton. He was on that team. I talked to him last weekend at the Central game, and in that ball game, people just don't realize what it meant to the Auburn people to have that game brought to Auburn. I can remember going to Legion Field every year, and you walk in there and you say, "Well, that's your home game." Well, the ticket takers are dressed in Crimson Tide, the Crimson, and it just wasn't a home game. And now to get that thing back on a home-and-home basis, And to be truthfully, if the Alabama fans will really be serious, they glad to have it at Denny. Denny.
That's something that's never talked about. Bryant-Denny Stadium, for those of you that don't remember back in this time, they didn't play many big games at Bryant-Denny back in those days. All the big ones were played in Birmingham. They played a couple of games a year on campus.
Oh, yeah, just a few. I mean, all the big games, the Tennessee game, the Auburn game, the other, whatever big rivalry, whether it be LSU, whoever came in that particular year, was always going to be at Legion Field. And it was nothing but a home game for Alabama the whole time. And, they initially did it because of Legion Field had more seating than Jordan-Hare or Bryant-Denny. But now, when those stadiums got caught up and passed Legion Field, it was the only sensible thing to do, to go, campus to campus.
Made no sense. Looking back on that game, Alabama came in ranked number 2 in the country. Talking about a lot to play for, similar to this week. There was no playoff back in that day, but they were ranked 2nd. Got off to a bad start right away when their buses went the wrong way and tried to come in through Tiger Walk, and that's one of my vivid memories, where the Auburn people rocking the buses back and forth as they tried to get into Jordan-Hare Stadium. But there's something else before we move on. Two of your former players scored 4 touchdowns in that game. We talked about James Joseph. He had a pair. Marco Battle had 2 for Alabama that day.
Exactly, and that was a proud moment for Phoenix City. But both of those young men, I started my coaching career coaching those 2 young men. And I thought I was a good coach, but I come to realize I had good players. And but Marco, like I said, it was good. Glad to see him get them 2 catches, but I'm glad to see that Auburn won. The ironic thing is that I was kind of close to the Auburn coaching staff back those days when Coach died. I can remember the story that Coach Sullivan, Pat Sullivan, and Larry Blakeney was co-offensive coordinators, and they was calling plays, and they scripted the first 10 plays. And the first 10 plays, it just looked like clockwork, and we hit. And then they got to saying, Coach Casey was saying later on, a couple of months later, and was telling the story, and he said, they said, okay, what do we run now? And Coach Casey on the headset said, run the same damn 10 plays again. Excuse my language. But you got to know Coach Bud Casey to understand that. And but it was a turning point that for the Auburn folks, you felt like now you was on equal ground.
Yeah. And since that time, Auburn has won 9 of 14 games at Jordan-Hare. So there was something to that. Coach Dye knew what he was talking about.
Yes, he was.
All right, so let's quickly review last week. As expected, Auburn 52, Samford nothing. Horrible day for football. Auburn really accomplished everything it set out to do, though.
It did. You got to shut out on defense, and number one, the biggest thing is we come out with no injuries. We got to rest a couple of people that was injured up. The only setback was this Sherwood getting the targeting call.
Pretty weak call, if you ask me.
I wish they would define what they're looking for. Yeah. I've seen way worse hits than that. He didn't lead with the crown of the helmet. He didn't hit him. He hit him in the shoulder, right, hit that area right there, and that's going to be a big loss because Sherwood was coming on and basically played that 6th defensive back, and we're going to miss him the first half.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. But other than that, really, Auburn comes in fairly healthy.
They did. I thought under the conditions, I thought Bo Nix played well. Mm-hmm. I thought the offensive line played better. Of course, opponent had a lot to do with that. It's good to see Booby back out there.
Yeah.
And his legs are pretty fresh, and we're going to need him and DJ, and we got to have all hands on deck, and just get ready for a big time game.
A lot of people were comparing the Auburn score, watching Auburn play Western Carolina at the same time. Samford beat Western Carolina the week prior by 30-some-odd points. So Samford's a little bit better football team than what Alabama was facing. Not that it matters. But anyway, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to turn to Alabama, and we're going to look ahead to this weekend's matchup. You're watching Track 'em Tigers.
Razor XP has earned its place as the world's best-selling performance side-by-side. Now, the off-road's most successful Predator looks even hungrier. For 2019, Razor XPs are cut more aggressively. The chiseled muscular style, premium digital instruments, and wicked LED accents all hint at the heart of the animal within. Choose a Ride Command Edition with off-road worthy touchscreen that puts total control at your fingertips. Or grab a Dynamics Edition and discover the terrain-dominating power of smart suspension. Extreme performance has never looked so good. Build your XP at PolarisRazor.com.
And welcome back into Tricom Tigers. Coach, before we go any further, it was great having Jason Dyer from Extreme Power Sports here last week. We have him on once a year, and it's always a good time. He's sponsored us his second year, and just want to thank him for his partnership and everything he does.
Yeah, it was a pleasure being with Jason last weekend, and I wish we'd had him back for today.
Yeah. Would have been nice. But let's move on. Okay. A lot to play for this weekend. Nationally, the narrative is Alabama's got to win this game, and not only do they have to win, but they've got to win with something everybody's calling style points. I don't know that Nick Saban's sitting up in Tuscaloosa thinking about winning on style points. He's probably thinking about just trying to win.
Well, you better not. Mm-hmm. If you're going in saying that you have got to win this game by X amount of points, you're going to lose sight what's in front of you. The main thing is play the game to win. And then, for Auburn's standpoint, we got a lot to play for.
Yeah.
We got a chance to, finish 9-3 in the regular season, which would be a very good season, and a chance to go to a good bowl. Looks like it's going to be the Citrus probably, playing either Wisconsin or Minnesota or Michigan, and that's to be determined. Or at worst, I think we could go to the Outback. So, a chance to have this group, this team to have a chance to win 10 games. With the schedule that they had, would be a very good accomplishment. Yeah,
Auburn has faced 5 of the top 15 teams in the country, so picking up a 9th win would be tremendous. It won't be easy. Auburn, like you said, playing for a lot. Alabama playing probably for more, but really I don't think that matters.
Not in this game. I mean,
no.
Yes, a playoff is on the line, but from the same standpoint, throw all that away. This is the Iron Bowl. And they just don't get any bigger than this. So Auburn's going to come in with a chance to say, hey, we've played so many close games against such the top elite teams, and if we could get a win over another elite team, it'd just be a feather in their cap. And but it's going to be hard to do. Alabama's got a good football team.
Yep. Earlier this week, Alan Green, Auburn's athletic director, came out and gave Coach Malzahn, according to how you look at it, the dreaded vote of confidence, some people say, but he did come out and say that he was happy with the coaching staff. Stopped short of saying he was going to be the coach next year, but said he was happy with the direction the program was going. Sounds positive for Gus. Worst case scenario, things do not go well Saturday. What does that mean for him?
Well, I don't think that his job should be on the line for one game. Nobody's job should be. Who knows if we come out and totally get embarrassed, who knows what's going to happen. But I think by Alan Green coming up making that statement and giving the backing to the coaching staff, look, we can't afford at Auburn to give a $27 million buyout right now with us trying to build a facility. And it's got to be 13 up front, if I'm
right.
correct.
Within 30 days.
Yep.
Within
30 days. Look, Gus is our coach. We're having another good recruiting year. Hopefully, it's going to get even better. And let's just circle the wagons and let's move forward.
Yeah, this is Auburn's kind of year. This is their kind of game. Auburn, they love to be in that spoiler role. Not really playing for anything but a 10-win season, playing for each other. Alabama comes in 3.5 to 4-point favorite, depending on whose line you're looking at. The game, Auburn's got a chance here.
Sure they do. We proved that by how we played LSU and how we played Georgia. Now we'll have to play a good ball game, and probably one of our best. And a lot of people, talking about the Tua not playing. Surely that's going to help. It's going to hurt them some, but that's over with. They've had a time. You've had people that's got hurt. You got to move on. And right now we just got to concentrate on what Matt Jones can do well, because the other 10 players are still there. So, the situation where we just got to do what we do best and try to stop what they do best.
Yeah. What's Auburn's mindset this week?
I think it's one to to prove to people that we do have a good football team. And they'll have to do the little things right. Number one, you've seen Najee Harris become more of a factor in their offense. And you know the old adage is if we don't stop the run, we don't give ourselves a chance to win. And then they've got 4 of the best wide receivers on one team than anybody in the country. There's some that might have better, but they don't have 4 like they do. With a Mac Jones type quarterback, I know from listening to Saban and what they did last week, they want to give him some short throws to get confidence and get into a rhythm. We're going to have to play it up close. We're going to have to stop the bubble screen. Alabama does a good job of motioning, and especially Jerry Jeudy, and trying to isolate him and get him in the matchups that they want. And they run so many things off of that. You know, ideally, if we could stop the run and stop the slants. But see, that's hard because if you're stopping the run, that means your linebackers are coming up on the power. And if you do that, that little seam on the slant is going to be there. So I know Coach Steele will have a good game plan, and it'd be one of them situations where if we can stop the intermediate throws or just keep the ball in front of us, stop the running game, and don't let them hit the big home run. And by not hitting the big home run, that means we got to get pressure up front. Our front 4 is going to have to dominate the Alabama offensive line, and that's going to be a tall task because they're pretty good up front. And but if we can neutralize, and then by getting that pressure, then he's not going to have time for the long pass. And the difference in Mac can throw the football, and he's a good quarterback. But as far as precision and pinpoint passing, like Tua was, I haven't seen that. Noticing a couple of long throws he had last week, he completed them, but it's like the people was talking about, if he would have led them and made them catch it on the run like Tua did so often, walk in the end zone. Instead it was just
He tends to get a little air under the ball.
Well,
and that could be a positive.
It could be, and what's going to be his mindset? It's going to be his first start on the road and coming into a very hostile environment. And our environment needs to be really hostile, and to back these players. So it's just going to be one of those things that's going to come down to turnovers. Who makes the less turnovers? And in the kicking game, both our teams are probably struggling in the kicking game a little bit. So which one of those special team units come out ahead will have a good chance to win this football game. Yeah,
you talked about crowd noise. You know, I was down in Gainesville, and I really thought the moment was too big for Patrick Nix at that point. I just thought the crowd, I mean, it was intimidating, it was loud, and he had not seen anything like that. Auburn's going to have to bring that kind of noise Saturday to have a chance. And I know Mac's been around a little bit longer. But this is a guy, 3-star quarterback, not a stud coming out of high school from Jacksonville, committed to Kentucky. Alabama came and offered him a scholarship late. Unproven.
Well, he is, but he wouldn't have been recruited and he wouldn't have signed if he couldn't play. So, I guarantee you the Auburn defense is going to respect him, and they're just going to have to get after him. And it's just one of those things where I watched, I said last week, I watched Alabama's spring game last year, and I was really impressed with Mac Jones in the spring game. Of course, that's a spring game, and it's a little bit different. But he's not a backup that you can say that can't play. Lord, I can remember Florida. We went in there and had to face their backup. Yeah. And but he was a 5th-year senior, but he did a pretty good job. So it's going to be one of those situations where that, like I said, Auburn just got to play the best we can play. Yep.
All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to dig deeper into the defensive side of the ball and finish up talking a little bit about the offense. You're watching Track 'em Tigers.
She's ready. Extreme Power Sports' very own Polaris RZR Skylifter XP 1000. Trinity Exhaust, Power Commander, 6-inch portals, RZR 3 to 5-inch lift, MSA 20-inch wheels wrapped with 35-inch BKTs, deluxe audio roof, LED light bar, Mud Park ready. We are ready to finance you on this Skylifter right now. Come check out all our off-road machines today at Extreme Power Sports.
And welcome back into Track 'em Tigers. Coach, let's look at the offensive side of the ball. This Alabama defense, not the typical Alabama defense, giving up a lot of points this year. Still a lot of five-star athletes on the field. I hear people say, "Oh, Alabama's defense is not that good." They're still pretty good.
They are. Alabama's defense is still good. They're lacking some experience at linebackers. Their secondary is still good, and their front four is still. It might not be as great as some of the front fours they've had in the past, but they're still good. Their two outside rushers are extremely quick, and it's going to be tough for us to block, like keep that edge. I think the thing that people, why they saying Alabama's defense is not as good, is because of the fact they faced a couple of really good quarterbacks. If you're going to run the football, and that's what you're going to hang your hat on, you're not going to beat a Nick Saban team. You playing in his hands, because he's going to play, he's going to have the front seven, and he's always walking the eighth man in the box. And by people spreading them out, they're not able to do that. And I think, in order to beat an Alabama defense, you're going to have to run the football some to keep them honest, but you're going to have to throw the football. And if you can, because there's going to be some seams there, you just got to take care of them.
You kind of took me to my next question. Does Auburn's obviously struggled this year establishing the run against anybody that had a quality defense? What's the game plan? That Saban's daring you to establish the running game. You've got to do a little bit of that. Patrick Nix was forced to throw the ball 50 times against Georgia. That didn't work. What's your game plan?
I think you're going to have to come out and try to, basically what I think Alabama's going to do. I think both of them are going to be the same thing. Come out and try to give Bo some confidence and some short throws, and mixing in some run packages. I believe that you're going to see a lot of screens in this game on both sides of the ball. I'm not always talking about wide receiver screens. I'm talking about screens to the running backs, and maybe some tight end or H-back type things. We're trying to get a mismatch. But we're going to have to run the football some. But I don't want us to be hard-headed and trying to run into an iron wall, because we've stated earlier that our offensive line has not played their best. And not that they played bad, but against quality defensive, they've struggled some. And this is a quality.
So
defense.
You see another game throwing the ball 40, 50 times?
I don't know that many times, but I think definitely they're going to have to throw it in the 30 to 40 type range to have a chance.
You touched on special teams. Seems like special teams has always played a role in this series. This year, field goal kicking, both teams have struggled. Anders Carlson has been a tremendous disappointment. I think Auburn's fans' biggest worry is that the game's going to come down to a Carlson kick, and I think Alabama would probably tell you the same thing about them.
Yes, I think both sides. I know Sheriff Taylor, talking to him, he's always upset about Alabama's special teams kicker. But Carlson, we put him in some situations really kicking some really long field goals. We've had a change in holders. I think that's kind of hurt some. It's just a situation that hope interest. If it comes down to a last-second field goal, we got to kick it. Hope he make the kick.
Yeah, and talking about the punting game, I really think the Georgia loss, huge contributor to that was the way that punter pinned Auburn back. I think that's going to be a key. That's something that at the end of the game not a lot of people remember and talk about, but field position's everything.
It is, and especially in a game like this. If anybody that has to start inside the 10, it's going to be a long day for them. Mm-hmm. So, but our punter's been, he's really done a good job, and hopefully, like I said, I thought early in the year he was probably out kicking his coverage, not as much height. Mm-hmm. Now he's getting the height to it. So hopefully that might be a plus for us.
Yeah, Aaron Sipos is one of the top punters in the SEC last year. This year he's gotten his average up over 40 yards a kick now, which is much better than the way he started. All right, let's talk about the defensive side of the ball. We've talked about Mac Jones. You're Kevin Steele. How do you prepare against the four best receivers in college football? And these, all four of them will be playing on Sunday. What do you do if you're Kevin Steele? Obviously, you got that front up there, but how do you slow down this passing attack?
Well, the first thing you do is pulling his hair out.
Yeah.
And because this is not going to be easy to scheme against. I think the situation is we play probably 90% man. And we'll have to continue to do that. And we got some DBs that, hopefully that they can play with wide receivers to a point. But from another point of view, I think if you can mix that up with a little bit of zone, with cover 2, cover 3, basically, play a robber type thing and so forth, that if you can do that and try to give Mac a different look and just not letting him hone down on 1 or 2 receivers that he's primarily looking at. The thing with Tua is that he can look 1, 2, 3, and if he had to, he'd go 4. Hopefully Mac can't do that. If he does, we'll just have to tip our hat, and because it's going to be a long day.
No. Alabama has feasted on the big play this year, on the big pass, long pass.
Probably more than anybody in the country.
Yeah. Is that more of a result of Tua's ability, or these receivers, or both? And does that opportunity still exist with Jones?
It does. You saw last week when Mac played Western Carolina. I know it was Western Carolina, but they got big passing plays. He didn't probably throw the ball 5-10 yards, but their explosiveness outside is what's scary. Auburn's going to have to really tackle well in the secondary. It's just going to be a tremendous task, and but it's one that I know that Auburn's looking forward to.
All right. Auburn wins if
we can control the line of scrimmage. That's an old adage, but if we can control the line of scrimmage, I think we'll have a chance to win. We'll have to have some big plays, and we've got to stop their big plays. If we can do that, I don't like our chances in a shootout, but I do like our chances in a defensive struggle. I'm not saying, no 10-7, but if we can keep the thing, in the 20 range, we'll have a chance.
All right, well, Coach, you've kind of you've summed up what it's going to take to win on Saturday. We shall see, but before we end today, I want to talk about Iron Bowl memories. I want you to share with me your favorite memory. I'm going to share with you my favorite. Mine's probably the 86 game. Lawyer Tillman on the end around. He was not even supposed to be in the game. Goes running out on the field late. It's raining at Legion Field. And one of the takeaways is I can still remember seeing James Joseph. He was a freshman standing on the sideline, jumping up and down, and Tillman taking that end around and scoring and beating Alabama is something I'll never forget.
That was going to be one of my top ones too. That was good. Memories. I'm going to go back old school. 1972, Bama punt. I'll still remember as a kid. I was probably around 14, 15 years old. But remember that and listening to Gary Sanders on the radio, and it wasn't televised back then, and just the excitement of that.
One of the iconic radio calls of all time.
Exactly, and that was a big one. When we sacked Brody Croyle 11 times.
Yep. 2005, I believe that was.
And,
yeah.
That was a great memory.
Honk if you sack Brody. Remember those bumper stickers?
Yeah, I do. Matter of fact, that's on the SEC shorts. They did a little clip on that one. A game, of course, when Patrick Nix came in and threw it to Frank Sanders. When Stan White got hurt. Never forget that. And one that I remember, and I can't remember the year, I think it was late 90s. Alabama had the lead with the ball, and it was going under 2 minutes to play, and they threw a swing pass.
Yep. I believe that was 97. That's Freddie Kitchens, the Cleveland Browns coach, was the quarterback of Alabama.
They threw it to Sism, and Montavious Houston came in and made a great hit, and made that great hit and fumbled, and we kicked the field goal to win. Do you know who the offensive coordinator was at Alabama at that time?
I don't.
Bruce Arians.
How about that?
Head coach now with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, yeah.
And he got fired for that, that swing pass.
And should have.
They should just run the clock out. But
I've got a piece of that goalpost in my man cave right now, where they cut a piece. They took the goalpost out of the stadium and cut it up into pieces, and I somehow have got a piece of that. So it's a great memory.
There's been a lot of great memories, and you know, I've been on that side when the memories wasn't so pleasant.
Yes. 85.
Was that with the one Van Tiffin
Yes.
field goal? That
Still not over it.
that broke my heart. And the bad thing about it is that all we got to do is tackle the guy. I think his name was Richardson. He was coming across on a crossing, believe a dig play, and all we got to do is tackle him and keep him in bounds, and it's over. But he got out of bounds, and Van Tiffin kicked like a 55-yard field goal to win the game, and you know that really hurt. But nothing atop 89.
No.
And just that first experience we talked a lot about. And
2013 was close.
we are very much so. And they, you know, I'll go back to 2017. I thought it was a similar situation. Alabama's coming in ranked number 1. And I thought Auburn totally dominated that football game. And I think we beat them 27-13, maybe something like that. And but that was a great defensive performance against Jalen Hurts, and Auburn just played well above their head, and hopefully we'll see that this Saturday.
Going to be fun. The 84th Iron Bowl this Saturday, 3:30 p.m. on CBS from Jordan-Hare Stadium. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Coach, again, happy Thanksgiving to you and War Eagle.
War Eagle.